Now, when I am talking about gases, right, I used to tell my students, like, whenever I taught gas laws from the very start, the beginning, whenever we are talking about gases, we are talking about four functions. Let me give you a real life example. Suppose you are going to a restaurant. First of all, what do? You look at the foods in the catalog. What foods are available, right? That defines the restaurant. Some restaurant would be having a Chinese cuisine, some would be having Korean cuisine, some would be having a Mughlai cuisine, and some will be having যেটা কোনো spice hotel. Typical Bengali food. Right? So whenever I'm saying gas laws, what am I talking about? So gas. Alright. The property of a gas depends on four things. P for pressure, V for volume, temperature, and when I write small n, that means number of moles. Okay. Now let's see how we are going to study what is called Boyle's law, what is called Charles' law, what is Avogadro's law, and what is Gay-Lussac's law. Four laws. So now think this way. I'm dealing with P, V, T, and N. If you keep 2 as a constant, this one and that one. So what are the variables? These 2. Now, just to go ahead with the idea. So when the temperature is constant, the number of particles or number of moles remain the same. If you increase the pressure, now imagine you have a balloon in your hand, okay, which is filled up with air. If you press the balloon, what happens to the volume? Or when you are using a cycle pump, when you press down the piston, it means you're applying force or pressure. What happens to the gas? It gets compressed. So when I am increasing the pressure, the volume becomes less. Which means, if I increase the pressure, the volume goes down. In a closed system. Okay? আমি কি বলতে চাইছি মানে ওই যে নজলটা যেখান থেকে হাওয়াটা বের হচ্ছে ওটা বন্ধ করে দিচ্ছে ঠিক আছে আমি যদি টেম্পারেচারকে কনস্ট্যান্ট রাখি সেই প্রসেসটার নাম হচ্ছে কি হোয়াট ইজ দ্য নেম অফ দ্য প্রসেস আইসো thermal. Iso means same, therm means temperature, so same temperature at the initial part and at the final part. we study thermodynamics, what is reversible, irreversible process, we will discuss separately. So what do you understand? That P is now inversely proportional to V. That is all you understand, right? Now if you want to make an equation out of it, if you want to remove the proportionality sign, you say PV equals some constant K at a particular temperature, which could be 25 degrees centigrade, it could be 60 degrees centigrade, or any other temperature. Okay. So let's call, we have P1, V1. P1 is the initial pressure, V1 is the initial volume. I push down the piston, so I get what? Pressure now is P2 and V2 is the new volume for a particular temperature. So that should also be equal to K. So now I have what? A new equation. What is that? This thing. So what does Boyle's law tell you? This equation. So could you just note down the entire thing?